of save time, and they get all these kind of reactions in the body and don't really connect it to food, because we believe that we're supposed to get like bloated or stomach problems or something, but it can be much more subtle than that. If you have a glucometer, you can also track your blood glucose and see how it goes up and down when you eat stuff that your body don't really agree with. Another thing that we can track easily is temperature, because a lot of people have a thermometer in their home. Buy a basal body thermometer that shows 2 decimals, because then you can track a lot of things like fertility, for example. This is another system also controlled from the brain, the hypothalamus and pituitary gland that control the ovaries. And the pituitary gland in the brain control your metabolism, and the ovaries control your fertility. And it's been an increasing trend these days with women tracking their fertility with a thermometer in the morning, get the morning readings. And it's a great way to track your ovulation or lack of ovulation, because a lot of women these days, they are under a lot of pressure, they don't really realize it. They might have their period every month, but they don't ovulate. So a lot of women in their 30s are not as fertile as they believe they are, because they simply don't ovulate. So this is what a normal curve would look like if you track your temperature every morning. And if there's no drop in temperature, there's no ovulation. So you can easily see your own level of fertility, which is very interesting. You can also track your thyroid function, because I talked previously about the adrenal glands, how they often break down if you are super stressed for a long period of time, and you always compensate for that with caffeine and sugar, and you have a really stressful life. Your adrenals, they produce a lot of cortisol, your blood sugar raises, you gain weight, and the next organ to fail you are the thyroid gland up here. And then you will begin to experience severe fatigue, inability to focus, inability to lose weight, and a lot of other things. And then you can just monitor your body temperature for a few days in a row to see, and then take the average. Like if you track every morning for 5 days, take the average value. There's a typo in there, but for the first one, if you have a consistent morning temperature below 36 degrees Celsius, in combination with the other symptoms, it can be a sign that your thyroid is not working and it's time to see a doctor. If it's consistently above 37, it says 36, but it should be 37 degrees Celsius, that can also be a sign of thyroid failure, but because of an autoimmunity, a lot of inflammation going on in your body, and your body is attacking your thyroid. So there's a lot of things that we can see just from measuring our temperature and our pulse, 2 very simple things to measure in our home. And okay, so let's get on with some quick hacks. So stress is a big factor, especially for young, productive people that think they can just work, and there will be no consequence. There will be when you get older, especially for women that lose their ability to ovulate, for example, decreased fertility, weight gain, and other things. So stress is a huge thing. There's no way around it. We need to change our habits. We need to decrease caffeine for most people, or quit caffeine altogether. I always recommend a low sugar, low starch diet, because high blood sugar is definitely stressful for the body. We can just tolerate about a teaspoon of sugar per meal, and after that the body will go into some kind of reaction. Also diaphragmatic breathing, because so many people forget to breathe these days. We're just top breathers, so most people don't even know how to fill their lungs completely with air. And that's a routine that can go into meditation, for example, yoga, and other practices that practice breathing and focus on breathing. So another thing connected to your adrenal glands and your stress hormones is to, if you work out, that's great, it's perfect. Working out is the best biohack ever. But if you're a person that kind of do a lot of cardio because you want to lose weight, and you know you have like a stressful living already, you eat a lot of sugar, maybe some junk food in there, you gain weight, you do your cardio to kind of compensate for it, but that will actually just fuel the wrong fire here, because it will just give you more biological stress, more cortisol and less progesterone and less sex hormones, because the adrenals really need to make a choice there. And in a crisis situation, it always prioritizes cortisol. It will always prioritize stress before anything else, because that's about survival and having children and producing extra testosterone. That's not as important. So heavy lifting and strength training, that's hormone boosting. It's not as stressful, and it's raising your level of testosterone and progesterone, and will also help you lose weight if that's your goal. And it will also lower your blood sugar, because if you train your large muscle groups, then you will open up your glucose receptors and your blood sugar have somewhere to go, and you will increase your ability to handle carbohydrates, for example. So you don't need to be as strict with your diet. This is another system for serotonin and melatonin. Melatonin, that's a sleep hormone, a very important sleep hormone. And it's built from serotonin, our feel-good hormone. And we need these two to be able to feel good. A lot of people these days are supplementing or medicating with SSRIs because they don't keep enough of their own serotonin, or they have a lack of serotonin. It makes them depressed. You will also be very sensitive to pain, and maybe your joints are aching, and it just feels like you can't handle your day-to-day life very well. That's a typical sign of lack of serotonin. And of course, your sleep will suffer when you can't produce enough serotonin. And one very quick hack to fix this is to focus on magnesium and vitamin B6, because so many people are deficient in these two, and you can really macrodose these two. You can take like a gram of magnesium without any problem, and half a gram of vitamin B6, and a lot of people will feel the difference immediately to improve sleep and also improve mood. I would recommend 5-HTP, but it's not legal in Sweden, so I don't recommend it. If you buy it online, I won't judge you. And we can also use blue light blocking. That's my last tip for sleep. And I wear them today, red glasses or yellow, because we have photoreceptors in our eyes that detect light. And blue light, like we have in here, tell our brain that it's the middle of the day, and when we sit in front of our computer screen or TV screen in the middle of the night, that just signals to the brain that it's daylight, you don't need to go to bed yet, but then, oh, it's late, I need to sleep, and we like turn everything off, and then we can't sleep because our brain have had a signal all the time that it's in the middle of the day. So blue light blockers, all biohackers use some kind of blue light blockers when they watch TV late at night. Red glasses or yellow glasses is very effective. And the last quick hack, if you insist on drinking coffee, it's better if you don't, but if you do, mix it with butter and the amino acid L-taurine, where you can buy basically everywhere, because then you will have a sustained focus and energy. You won't get the dip in blood sugar or energy the same way if you just drink your regular coffee. And also implement a 24-hour fast every week to kind of reset your insulin sensitivity, to lose weight, to increase your ability to handle carbohydrates. And it's also something to look into if you're interested in longevity, for example. So that's everything for me. You can find me online on my Swedish blog, martinajansson.se, and I'm also on Instagram, Next Level Biohacking. So thank you for listening.